Now, you probably heard the phrase facts tell, stories sell. Facts tell, stories sell, which rhymes, doesn't it? Isn't that wonderful? But I'm going to challenge that today because there's a certain type of story that absolutely does not sell and you should avoid at all costs. And that's what we're talking about in today's episode of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. Now, the story I'm talking about here is when, in particular, something has a name that is abstract and it has a story to it. So we're called Cloud Atlas Consulting, and we're called that because actually it's a Zodiac thing, blah blah blah. If you have to explain and give me the story behind something, then it's going to take me longer to understand it by definition, and the longer it is to understand, the harder it is to understand, the lower the chance I'm actually going to buy it. The only exception here is in high value goods, because we buy into those stories and that nuance if you're buying really expensive handbags and watches and alcohol and things like that. But if you've got a regular business, which most of you will have listening to this, indeed, facts tell, stories sell. But when there is a story to something like the name of your business, because it's abstract and it doesn't mean anything and straight away to me as a person, it has to be explained to me, that's where I'm going to disengage. Most people tend to name their business, their product, their service in a way that they like, a bit like naming your pets or your children. You don't really care what anybody else thinks, you name it accordingly. But in the commercial world, your name has to work for you. So if the name of your product or your service isn't as good as it could be, and by that I mean if it's abstract and it needs a story to explain the signs of the zodiac or that trip to Crete that caused you to have a car crash or whatever, blah blah, if there's any kind of story like that, those are the stories for me that don't sell, because it just wastes time ultimately and disconnects you from your buyer. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message.